Next, we'd like to look back on the geothermal area. The next one will be the very final presentation for this session. Professor Hirofumi Muraoka of Hirosaki University in this geothermal area. He has been active for many years. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And please use microphone. I'm sorry, microphone was not turned on. For 32 years, I worked for AIST. And during that period, I was seconded to NEDO twice. And after that, for 8 years, I worked for Hirosaki University. And after retirement, or 6 years has already passed. So I became old now. After I graduated, for 46 years, I've been studying or being in relation to the geothermal for the past 46 years. And I'm quite honored to be given this opportunity to celebrate together with you the Sunshine Project 50 years anniversary. And I'd like to express my gratitude to the NEDO for giving me this opportunity. And my talk is titled Sunshine Project Opened the Door for Geothermal in Japan. Now, first, I'd like to talk about the situation of the geothermal development both in Japan and the world. And while there was a Sunshine Project running, the situation was good. But after that, for 15 years, there was a stagnation in development in Japan. And I'd like to talk about that as well. And then I'd like to talk about most impressive outcome of the project, Sunshine Project, then finish with conclusions. Now, geothermal resource has a lot to do with the volcano or magma. And when we look at the number of the subaerial Holocene volcanoes, there are 1,239. 30% of them are considered in United States, Indonesia, and Japan. And there's a number of the subaerial Holocene volcanoes. And then there's a geothermal resources described on the chart on the right-hand side. There's strong positive correlation between the two. And we can see that US, Indonesia, Japan are by far leading other countries in terms of the resource that we have. But when it comes to the development station, USA, 3,700 megawatt, Indonesia, 2,289 megawatt. So they are reflecting, their ranks reflect the resource. But are we ranked third? No, we are actually only with the 550 megawatt ranked 10th. And the clear, if you look at the history, that are falling behind is more clear. We were number 5 in 1995, but today we only ranked number 10. We are even behind Turkey and Kenya. We are very ranked 10th. That is our current situation. We see other countries here with a smaller population like New Zealand as well. And it's just a visual of the history of the development. The y-axis has an installed capacity. So 1966 was the beginning of the development, and until the Sunshine Project inauguration, I call this period as an early period of geothermal development. And after the beginning of the Sunshine Project, we can see the quite a significant increase of the installed capacity. And in 1980, NEDO was established, and even stronger momentum is now seen. 48,000. increased to 530,000 in 1995. So it increased 11 folds. So that was actually the outcome of the Sunshine Project. So this was a world-leading period, as I call. But unfortunately, in 1997, well, there was a time when bubble economy collapsed and tax income plummeted. And under the situation with the geothermal was excluded from a category of renewable energy in Japan under the law. So there's no support. So with that, we move on to the stagnant period. For about 15 years, there's basically no increase. But the situation changed with the Great East Japan earthquake, with the stoppage of the nuclear power plant or the re-evaluation of the distributed power system and such. And also with the fact that the Tohoku area is rich with geothermal resource, geothermal was re-evaluated, leading to resumption of the support. But installed capacity has not increased yet. A similar thing is now analyzed with the change in the budget for the geothermal. When the Sunshine Project was ongoing, the situation was favorable. But after the change in law, after the exclusion from the category of renewable energy, the budget plummeted. So there was no policy support during this stagnant period. With that, the technology accumulated was not able to be handed down because human resources had to transfer to different area to sustain their livelihood. So there was such a significant loss made in terms of human resource and the technology handing over during these 15 years. But after the Great East Japan earthquake from 2012, there was a resumption of the support to the geothermal. But at the early stage of after the resumption, I imagine that there was a struggle to secure human resource. So I was at the AIST at the time, and in 2001, there were 4 research groups, and more than 30 persons were involved in research activities. But in FY 2003, the research group number was down to 2, and in FY 2010, 7, the number only became 1, and I was head of the research group. So inclusive by itself, only 5 of us was a member of the group. But we were the last resort, so we had to do something. And so we conducted a geothermal resource research, or the assessed the resource. And with regard to the geothermal, we identified that there was a 33,470 megawatt E of the high temperature resources more than 150 degrees Celsius, which implied that we were third ranking in the world. And actually, we were weak in the small scale geothermal power, so I focused on the smaller scale and proposed a hot spring plant. In Japan, there are more than 27,000 of the hot spring sources, so there should be a sufficient resource. But what lacked was a small binary generation equipment. So we started from developing such technology. And actually, this is something that we did out of desperation. But fortunately, still the market is growing. There are 68 locations where there are small scale power generation is happening. So the market is started to grow. And the most impressive outcome or results of the New Sunshine project for me is the following. So there was a deep survey in Indonesia. We had a deep well, and we surveyed, and the outcome was that the temperature is more than 500 degrees Celsius. Such high temperature was attained with the penetration, and this spot was still under a cooling process, so that we were able to attain a high temperature. And we identified this heat source, and we got attention globally. And today, NEDO is working on geothermal project, and I believe that this finding serve as a foundation for such a ongoing project. Now, out of the so that was the project I talked about was not from Indonesia, but it was from the Iwate prefecture. But in Indonesia, we did a survey starting from 1997, covering a remote islands in Indonesia. This was done at the Flores Island, and so that was a 5-year period project, and we were able to dig only 126 meter, but we were able to succeed in flow test. And Indonesia recognized this island as a geothermal island, and many projects are now underway in this island. And IEA, TIA, and of course this was done under Sunshine Project, but even after the completion of the Sunshine Project, NEDO maintained that project. This is a geothermal implementation agreement project, and I was able to participate in the project. And this is 2008, and this is executive committee meeting in Busan. And then another photo is from 2010. The time the meeting took place in Bali, Indonesia, and at the time also the World Geothermal Congress was held. At the time, we were at the stagnant period for geothermal development. Not under IEA, GIA, we did not have much to report, but fortunately, I did conduct the geothermal resource survey and have collected many data related to hot spring. And with that, I propose to do a comparative study, and we did just that. Green is yes, black, Japan, and x-axis is temperature, y-axis is pH. And we can see that in US or Japan, the pH is about at around 7 in the granite, in your granite. But in Iceland, they have a high pH, like 8 to 10, 11. It was alkalic. What's the reason? Under the different rock formation, the chlorine content was quite low. And so NaOH is the form. That is why it's on the alkalic side. So the basalt give up a different station from the granite. Now, Japan has the world's third geothermal potential, and we are enjoying more than 27,000 hot spring sources, and we have a geothermal steam turbine technology with the 30% of global share, and we have a high level of the exploration technology and the seismology and volcanology. And should the Sunshine project have continued, I believe that the geothermal power in Japan would have exceeded 3,000 megawatt and probably been competitive with USA and Indonesia. But unfortunately, in the year 2000, Sunshine project discontinued. So the weakest point of Japan is that the value added multi-stage usage of the geothermal resources. The greatest weakness in Japan is to be not aware of the high value, and it is not too late. So let us make Japan as a top geothermal utilization country. Thank you very much for your attention. Muraoka-sensei. Thank you very much, Dr. Muraoka. Let me ask you a question. The strength of the geothermal power technology of Japan, what is it? And to grow such strength further, both domestically and internationally, what can be done? Please give a message to a younger generation. Thank you very much. When we go to a geothermal power plant, 30% of such plants in the world is using the turbine of the Japanese manufacturers. And they're much, so the turbines are being sold today. So geothermal turbine technology or exploration technology, they are utilized today, not only in Japan, but globally, and the market can be addressed globally. So geothermal is what is strength in Japan, and I like to spread that globally. Then the market is very big. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Professor Muraoka once again. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for the three keynotes. Looking back on the Sunshine project, currently the foundation of technologies that are spreading today, there have been many developments. So 20% of power is renewables, and as for solar, more than 50,000 kilowatts has been introduced, and that is the achievement of Sunshine project. As I listen to the keynotes, continuing efforts is very important. Persevering and never giving up is very important. At the same time, industry getting as industry matured, policies are necessary considering the future outlook of the market. So I believe that the 3 points could be the takeaways for this session. On that note, I'd like to adjourn this session. This is the end of the first half of the symposium, so we will take a 5 minutes break. So if you could come back by 3:25. Thank you very much.
NEDO